Absolutely, I think it's a great way to finish off the tour. I just said to the players afterwards that all the work that they've done, and I think how they've represented the club in their time here has been absolutely brilliant. So I take great pride in that. But also on the pitch, I think how we've played, how we really devoted our mindset into the work, the intensity of the games, and I also know that big teams, they don't want to lose games, whether it's pre-season or not. So I think in the performance we had what you'd want from a top team: structure. You've got talent in the team, and then you have work. And that mentality to work and run with talent and a structure gives you a great chance. And I look at Kyogo's goal. We made about 23, 24 passes, I think, in that. And so having that confidence and personality to wait for the moment. But across the board, really, really happy with the performance. And with the younger guys coming into the game, there was no difference. They pressed the game, they harassed the opponent, and then showed the quality when we had the ball.
Hello again, everybody, and a warm welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. It's been a week since we've been on, so we've got a lot to get through. Right away, I'll just start with a wee bit of housekeeping. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow us on the Facebook page as well. We're also on Instagram, but that's just a new thing if you want to have a wee look at us over there. But Facebook, just hit that follow button if you can. And if you want some extra content, just go over to Facebook and you'll see hundreds of extra wee videos over on the Facebook page that we can no longer put on YouTube. Right, here's John. Let's say hello to John. How are you, John?
Aye, all good, Xander. How are you?
Aye, I'm all good. The close season, USA tour was really good for Celtic. Obviously, we're going to get right into that straight away, John, but some quality football played over the 3 games.
Aye, I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed all 3 games, especially the Man City game. I thought that was, if you're a neutral watching that was a fantastic game to watch.
Yeah, it was good to watch. 4-3. It was quite exciting for close season friendlies, wasn't it? The Chelsea game last night as well was also quite good. But we'll get into that in a wee minute, John. Before we get into the Celtic stuff, just one more wee thing. The competition, obviously, we ran a correct score competition. And it was for the Chelsea game last night, obviously it finished 4-1 to Celtic. So the competition, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct entries, John. Out of hundreds, there was 5 people that said 4-1. So I've done the draw earlier myself. Let's get the correct entries out the road first. Gordon McClement and Roger McCoy Scott. That's the one person, by the way. Peter Hendry, Andrew Ferguson and Gary Netherington was all the correct entries, John. I've done the draw earlier, and the 3 that were pulled out of the hat first was Gordon McClement and Roger McCoy Scott and Gary Netherington. So congratulations to Peter and Andrew there. Just unlucky they weren't put out of the hat, John. But 3 winners, 3 pens. All we need is your address. Send us a private message on Messenger, and we'll get these pens sent out to you Monday morning. Hopefully you'll get them by Tuesday or Wednesday. So 3 winners there, John. Congratulations to them.
Aye, well done. Unlucky to the 2 guys that never got it, because I never envisaged can I say the word, envisaged that game being 4-1. I mean, I think my guess was, not that I can win a pen, but my guess was 2 each. Mm-hmm. So aye, well done to every one of them that got the right score, because who would have envisaged that score?
That's right, John. I'll tell you what there was hundreds of 3-2 to Celtic guesses there. Hundreds. But we did have, about 300, maybe 400 entries altogether. 1-0, 2-0, all the usual stuff, 3-1s. But the 5 that got the 4-1, I've just mentioned there. So congratulations to the winners there. And let's get into the game then, John. Let's start with the game. 4-1. It's a goal from Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo, Palmer and Mikey Johnson at the very end in that game. We missed a lot of clear-cut chances as well. Could have been a lot more. I thought Celtic's style of play was slightly different, John. The closing down is back to the Ange days, it looked like. I know it was only a pre-season friendly, don't get me wrong. But we're looking for these sort of performances in Europe and in the league, obviously.
Aye, you can't judge any team on a pre-season friendly what they're going to be like for the rest of the season. Me, obviously, I don't get excited about these games, but like Celtic, they can only beat what's in front of them, you know. I mean, that Chelsea team, how much is it worth? You're probably one player's probably worth more than the whole Celtic team. So when you look at it in that light, I think the results against Man City and Chelsea were outstanding results, and especially Man City with the money. That's a £1 billion team right there.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
That's it. John. Yeah.
so you look at it in that light, friendly or not. And remember that team's only played 2 games. If you look at it, they played DC United and they played Man City. So that was Celtic's 2 warm-up games. The 2 games before that against Queen's Park and Ayr doesn't really count because it was youth teams that played in the games. So basically, both teams were at the same kind of time of the season in preparation. So, and Celtic played the youth team in the second half against Chelsea. So, and Man City. So, some effort by the Celtic players.
Yeah, and it's these English teams again, John, isn't it? You know, they have absolutely no respect for the teams in Scotland. So it was good to get one over. And as I said to one of the commenters as well, you know, they were more or less slagging us or laughing at us for, you know, being happy with a friendly victory. But I had to say to this guy, I told him in the comments that every time we play an English team, whether it's a friendly, whether it's in Europe, doesn't matter, we beat them. You know, we're always beating English teams, so I didn't get a reply to that, obviously. So Maresca, John, Chelsea manager, it was a strong team he put out. It was possibly the strongest team he could have put out. And we're playing a bit with him, John. You know, Maresca tried to look like Pep in it as well, but that's another story. But I think we were playing a bit with Chelsea there, John. I know Chelsea had their wee chance in the first couple of minutes. Good save by Kasper Schmeichel, who, by the way, has grown on me as well. He's looking really good. As you said at the start, you can't tell we're pre-season friendly, but, you know, first impressions last, as they say. Kasper's looking really sharp. Really good goalkeeper by the looks of things. But Celtic were toying with him.
Like you say, Chelsea did come out the traps pretty fast. Kind of, I was thinking at that point, this Chelsea team looked a really good outfit. But I looked them up before Celtic scored, and I noticed they'd drawn 2 each with Wrexham before that, Zander.
That's right. 2 each draw with Wrexham. Yeah. So they're no flying, obviously, are they, Chelsea? But they're definitely a decent team, and they've definitely got some quality players. I mean, you were talking about Man City there, John. I mean, the prices of these Chelsea players as well, you know, they can't be far away from a £1 billion team.
Both of them, Man City are a £1 billion team. They definitely are. The money they've spent is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It just doesn't bear thinking about when you think about the figures that they've spent on players. But Chelsea, they can't be far behind them. And I don't know. Celtic did kind of, I don't know. The Celtic looked like they could have scored if they wanted, Zander, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there was no replays last night watching it. There were no replays. A lot of these very close offside decisions. Sorry, we didn't get a replay of them. So there was, and they were clear cut through and goal. Offside decisions, players running through on their goalkeeper. There was at least a couple that we didn't get to see the replay. But more importantly, John, as I run it for the players, the league kicks off at the weekend, obviously against Kilmarnock Sunday. So there was an injury. There was one. Maida went off injured. That was just a clash of knees, apparently. John Brendan's updated everybody with that. A clash of knees. He'll be fine for the weekend. And didn't start the game, obviously. He had a bad back. So a couple of injuries there, but both players should be okay for the weekend.
They should be okay. I read up on that. They did the right thing. Any doubt in a pre-season friendly, get the player off the park straight away. Maida, I'm talking about here, took him off straight away. That was a correct decision. I thought Lewis Palmer kind of handled the game pretty well anyway. So, the correct decision. Take him off. Nicholas Crown's a back injury. And like you says, Brendan says he should be okay. Both of them should be okay for the Kilmarnock game. So that's good news.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. It's good to, when I heard that the day myself, I was quite happy to hear that because I was a wee bit concerned because Maida looks very sharp, John.
I thought the whole team looked very sharp, Zander. Hatate, so composed into Hatate. What a player. Mattarelli,
Oh,
bang on form. The whole team, they look ready to go. That's good. I'm excited about the new season kicking off. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. It's unfortunate we need to actually play second after Rangers, which is a total mystery to me. But let's have a wee look at some of the players that stood out. John, tell me if you agree, or you can add yours if you want. Ralston, I thought, looked sharp. He looked strong, physical. Doesn't let anything by him. Forrest, again, he's just continuing where he left off last season. Obviously, Parmat scored bagged a couple of goals as well, didn't he? So hopefully that continues. And Mikey Johnston's back in the team there, John, looking quite sharp as well. So they were the players, the sort of side players, if you like, that stood out for me. I'm not talking about the regulars, John, just the ones that are on the bench normally. I thought Parma looked quite sharp, scoring a couple of goals. Forrest, very sharp. Johnston looks good. And Ralston looks as though, he's picked up a wee bit, I think.
I looked okay, Ralston. Johnson, I think he scored a couple in the tour in America. And Lewis Palmer also scored a couple of nice goals, which is good. It's good to see Palmer getting back to his scoring ways again. That boy, I think, just lacks confidence. He is a good player. I've always said he's a good player. He went off the boil, obviously, after he missed the penalty for his national team, Honduras. But look, he's got to put that behind him. And it looks like he has put it behind him. He looks happy. He looks sharp. So it's good to see him on form. Nicholas Kuhn against Man City, man of the match. I thought Nicholas Kuhn was absolutely terrific, Xander. His two goals were brilliant, and his assist was out of this world to be outside of the boot, chip into the box for Kyogo. What an assist that was.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't understand why he wasn't playing last night. I just found out today that he was actually injured. We're looking for a season out of him, John. We're looking for more consistency and just a performance like that in every game that he plays.
He plays like that every game. We've got a player, definitely. But look, we know Nicholas Kuhn's got ability. We've said that all along. He's just maybe looked a bit lightweight. But there was a couple of games, like we mentioned last week, in the season where he was on fire. He was unplayable. He was absolutely amazing. And then he just went off form again. So he is a hot and cold player. I think that's what you've got to get used to with Nicholas Kuhn. And luckily against Man City, we've seen the hot side of him. He was the man of the match. He's got bags of ability. And like you says as well, he has bulked out a wee bit as well. He looks a bit bigger.
Yeah.
He's put on a bit of muscle, which is good.
He looks totally different. He looks definitely bulked. It was a brilliant game. I enjoyed it last night. 4-1. We've gone on 6-7-1. It really was. So that was that. What did you think of Casper in goals, John? This guy, it's going to be hard for these. Well, hopefully, it's going to be hard and difficult for these teams in the league to score past him, because that was some amount of saves he pulled off yesterday and against Man City.
He was outstanding. He looks like a good signing. Well, besides that, anyway, he does look like a good signing, Casper. Pulled off some outstanding saves yet again against Chelsea. And obviously, the thing I like in the goalkeeper, the way Celtic play is, the way most teams play now is building from the back into it, and Celtic's no different. And Casper looks like he's got top class distribution, even at 37 years old. His distribution is amazing. He finds his passes even better than Joe Hart, in my opinion, at that. The distribution side of things. He's a big personality. Yeah. He's a world-renowned goalkeeper. So, I'm delighted with him, Xander.
Yeah. Let's just hope that continues. Johnny doesn't pick up injuries or anything like that, because from what I saw, and bearing in mind who he's playing against, these top quality, multi-million pound players, Man City and Chelsea, John, I was very impressed, same as yourself. All right, let's move on to the other game then, John. Man City, because that was equally as good as a performance. Obviously, the defence letting a few goals. Big Cameron Carter-Vickers was back against Chelsea, wasn't he? He never played in the Man City game. It was good to see the big man back. Alistair Johnston's still on his break after his international duty. But the Man City game, a double from Kuhn, obviously. Kyogo bagged another goal. That's another boy that scored a few goals in the pre-season. Kyogo, it's good to see him back to goal scoring form. And Palmer again, John. So a double for Kuhn, Kyogo and Palmer. Finished 4-3. Good game, good exciting game, as you said at the start of the pod there. Manchester City, I think that they didn't have the full team, but they did have, Haaland playing up front, who also scored for them, didn't he? And a few other big name players in the team. So it was a good run out, good exercise and energy into the legs, John. Another step closer to getting us ready for the league kick-off on Sunday.
Aye, I really enjoyed that game. I enjoyed last night's game as well, but I think the one against Man City was a better game. They're probably are they probably the richest club in the world right now? I'm not sure, but look, they've got a £1 billion team there. That's not million, that's £1 billion team. And
Yeah.
Celtic made them look ordinary at times, to be honest with you. I thought Celtic were brilliant that night. Big Haaland, of course, he got the better of Liam Scales, didn't he? I don't think Liam Scales knew where he was. Didn't have to do much to beat Liam Scales, did he?
No, he's just a big, powerful machine, Haaland, isn't he? But he got his goal. I suppose that's what the Man City fans in the stadium were looking for, Haaland to get his goal. So he got their wish, I suppose, but it was just brilliant. And then obviously the other game was DC United. That was at the very start of the US tour. The following for Celtic, John, was quite impressive. I thought thousands in the crowd, Celtic supporters, especially last night against Chelsea. I thought the Celtic fans were brilliant, singing their hearts out as well. Good to see that in the crowd. But the DC United game, another good run out for the boys. I think we played DC United a few years ago and they actually beat us when we went over to America a few years ago. But this time, 4-0 win, very comfortable against DC United, wasn't it, John?
Aye, I think they're halfway through their season, DC United. I'm not actually, I could be totally wrong there, but I'm sure I heard they were halfway through their season in the commentary. I'm not sure. But Celtic made them look pretty poor, really. They're not a great team, are they, DC United? Or is just Celtic that were really good? They've been really good in all 3 games they played over in America. So it was good to put all 3 teams away. So that's Celtic's done really well in their pre-season games so far. Been more than happy with that. Delighted, Xander. I think it's been a great pre-season. But I don't know. Just hope it's a sign of things to come. And I hope the board don't rest on their laurels watching Celtic beating these big teams, and they might get the impression we don't need to spend anything.
Yeah, it's funny to say that. My old man texted me last night saying exactly that. In fact, it's a good point, John, actually, because the board might look at that and say, oh, beating Man City, beating Chelsea, Premier League teams down in England, do we really need to spend? But I think Brendan's come out already and said we still need to strengthen. So he's let the board know right away, John, that that's not the case. We still need players in the door. We're going to get onto the player situation. Don't want to spend too much time on it, John, because we went on and on about it for weeks and we're just going to be repeating ourselves. There's a few wee changes. We're going to have a wee touch on it. But before we get into that, a wee quick hello to John McDougall, ex-Falkirk player, John, professional player, has been talking away to me over on the Facebook page. Celtic Mad, ex-Falkirk player, a few other clubs he played for as well. Sent us a wee picture of him in the lineup for Falkirk, John McDougall. So a quick hello to John, and thanks for the wee comments on my videos, etc. John, I really do appreciate that. Right, John, do you remember I was saying last week about Matt O'Reilly not getting into the Denmark team? So Morten Vikhorst, ex-Celtic player, he's now the manager, John, interim manager. He's in charge up until January. So there's a great chance there for Matt O'Reilly to get into that Denmark team.
Aye. Well, we'll see what happens there. Morten Vikhorst, he knows the Scottish game well. Obviously, big Morten Vikhorst. It's good news for Celtic that, if Morten Vikhorst knows Celtic, he knows they've always got quality players there. It doesn't matter what the league level is. Scottish standards just as good as the Danish standard, to be honest with you. The domestic game, I mean.
Yeah.
The Scottish standard is just as good as that. So, if no, possibly better if you take Celtic and Rangers into the account there. Both the teams are capable of beating every team in Denmark. So, aye, Morton will be well aware of that, and it's a good chance for Matt O'Reilly as well. So Morton will certainly be taking a good close look at Matt. I'm sure he's already had a good close look at Matt O'Reilly. I mean, he's been on is the assistant manager, isn't he? I think he was the assistant manager of Denmark before. So
Yeah.
Because you see him on the bench all the time. So Morton will be well aware. It's a good chance for Matt O'Reilly, and it's good news for Celtic as well, because if he's getting a game for his national team, chances are he'll get a start for Denmark now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be right in there, John. I think Morton Vicoff, it's not so just saying it was a Scottish game inside out, and he's obviously been watching Matt O'Reilly as well, especially in these close season games. How good has Matt O'Reilly been in the close season, John, before we move on? How classy has Matt O'Reilly been against Chelsea, Manchester City and DC United, John? He's not put a foot wrong.
He's a quality player. We know that about Matt O'Reilly. The way he took that goal against Chelsea was he's very nonchalant with some of these finishes, isn't he? As if it's nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
Just passing into the net when he's surrounded by world-class players. He's a top talent. And I'd be very surprised if Celtic managed to hold on to him, Xander, to be honest with you. But if they do sell him, it's going to be top money from him. Absolutely, it's going to be top money. At least 25, 30 million. I think he's going to break the transfer record for Celtic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest, England, Italy, you name it, John. There's teams all over the place interested in Matt O'Reilly. But we just need to wait and see what happens with Matt O'Reilly again. Obviously, both of us and every other Celtic supporter just want the lad to stay at Celtic, John, and finish his career at Celtic. He's and why would Matt O'Reilly want to go to Southampton, John, when they're not even in the Champions League and he's at a club like Celtic automatically into the Champions League, John? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the only thing that makes sense about that is money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. If he wants to be very rich, very young in his life, go to a club like Southampton. But you're not going to get the same joy as winning titles, playing in the Champions League, playing in front of the Celtic fans. You're not going to get all that at a team like Southampton. You're not going to get that at most clubs in England. There's no passion in that game. It's just money, money, money. I don't know. It's about money. That's what it's all about for players now. It's all about money. If Celtic want to hold on to him, they're going to have to pay him a lot more wages than what he's on right now, Xander. That's the answer. They've got to pay him a lot more wages, and Celtic won't do that. Simple.
I know it's concerning the money side of things at Celtic, isn't it? But the ball is in Matt O'Reilly's court. Definitely, he's the one he's holding all the cards. Offer me more money, I'll stay. If not, I'll have to go. So we'll wait and see what happens with Matt. Let's talking about Celtic players. So let's get back into the Celtic stuff. This is the official movement at Celtic so far during the summer, John. This is official, right? No rumours or anything like that. Hart gone, retired. Adam Ida back to his parent club. Bernardo back to his parent club. O has been sold to Ghent. Haksabanovic has been sold on as well, and Siegrist, he's also moved on as well, John. So that's your official players out the door, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players officially out the door. And in the door, we've got Sinisalo. In the door, the goalkeeper. Schmeichel. In the door, the goalkeeper. We've got Mikey Johnston back from his loan spell. He's back at Celtic. Bernabei is back at Celtic. For the time being, that is. He's back at Celtic from his loan spell as well. And so is Johnny Kenny, John. So that's all your official movement from Celtic so far. Nothing to do with rumours. That's all your player actual movement. Let's touch on the rumours then. Here we go again, John. We've been doing this for about 4 weeks, haven't we? But Stuart Armstrong, John, 32-year-old, now a free agent. That's him, free agent. A couple of clubs sniffing about him. Would you take Stuart back at Celtic?
No, I don't want him. or but certain Stuart Armstrong and his wee pal Ryan Christie. I don't want any of them back at Celtic. Wee money grabbers, the two of them, Xander. Andy's too old. Half decent player, but nah, I wouldn't have either of them back at Celtic, Xander. Christie or Armstrong. I just remind me of the COVID season. Couldn't wait to get away to get more money, you know. Didn't have Celtic at heart, and if you've not got Celtic at heart, don't come to our club.
Yeah, okay, we'll probably get there, John. I actually agree with you. I wouldn't want to see Stuart back at the club. We've got far better midfielders at the club just now without Stuart being there. We're looking to upgrade on the quality, no downgrade. That's where I look at it. Although, as you say, he is a top class player, but not quite the level we're looking for now, John. Stuart being now 32, nearly 33-year-old. Stephen Welsh, John, bid from Michelin. They came in for Stephen Welsh, John. Obviously, this is just rumour, but this is quite a strong rumour. What do you think of that? A bid came in for Stephen Welsh?
Well, I've never heard that, but if it's a good, strong bid, sell him. He's got too many mistakes in him, and I would just sell Stephen Welsh. But the thing is, we've still got Laga Bielka there, and we've still got Naroski there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of them have got to go and be replaced with better qualities under, because I think Welsh, Naroski and Laga Bielka, I don't think any of them are good enough to play for Celtic. Just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Stephen Welsh has got a lot of heart, but he's got far too many mistakes in him as well. So I'd be happy to see him go. Not happy for see the back of the boy. I mean, he's a nice boy and all that, but just he's no good enough for Celtic. Simple.
Yeah, we've got to think about the football team on the park, and that's nothing else comes into it, John. You're right. Welsh, I would maybe keep a hold of him. I'm not sure. But you can't go and saying he's just a young boy, because he's no young boy anymore, John. He's what, 23, 24 now. But if we're going to sell Laga Bielka, like you say, and Naroki, John, I would rather keep Welsh. But we've got to keep some sort of backup there. So maybe try and keep a hold of him. But if we're getting 4, 5, 6 million for him, then that's fair enough. That's a different story. Adam Ida, that's still, mate. Just leave that there, John. Do you want to go into that? That's going to go to the 31st or 30th of August. That's going to go on and on and on. Bernardo, that should be confirmed early next week. Apparently, John, he's going to be ready for the league kicking off against Carmarthen Sunday. He'll be a Celtic player by then, by all accounts.
I hope so. Just get some kind of business in the door. We outfield players, I mean. Aye, that would be good to get him over the line. I think Adam Ida, I don't know if that deal's dead or what, I'm not sure. I've seen a few players shouting about this guy at Aberdeen, Miofsky. Forget him, don't want him at Celtic. It's not the kind of striker I'd want at Celtic. And then again, saying that, he is a half-decent striker, and I think he would thrive with better players around him, but I don't know. I don't know why I've always been thought I don't want that guy at Celtic. I don't know why that is, Xander. I just get that feeling every time I see him.
Aye, no, John, he has always scored against us, and he's gave us a lot of trouble, Majorski. But I don't think it's the level either, to be honest with you, the Celtic are looking for. We're looking for Champions League level players, John, you know, sort of a higher quality, no £3 million signings for Aberdeen, John. That's no really what Brendan's looking for, is it? Adam, he does a bit better quality, but we're going to have to let that one go, I think. Could be totally wrong, but it's not looking good. The big man wants to come to Celtic. Nothing to do with Big Adam himself. It's the club in it, Norwich, that's holding back. Right, John, breaking news. We have breaking news. Celtic have been drawn at home against Hibs in the league, first round of the League Cup, John. What's your immediate thoughts there?
That's a tough first round, that, isn't it, for Celtic? Hibs. At least it's at home. Celtic should be too strong for any Scottish team at home. And I mean any Scottish team. And that's no a God-given right. Celtic should just beat these teams. But playing at Celtic Park, Celtic should be too strong for them, Xander. Aye. It's a tough first draw.
Yeah, it's very tough, isn't it, John? First round to the League Cup for the bigger teams in Scotland. You know, your Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers. Well, not Aberdeen, sorry, because they finished bottom. The league. Who was it in Europe? Hearts, sorry, isn't it? Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Celtic, and Rangers all come in later on in the competition. But Celtic have been drawn against Hibs. So that's one to look forward to. That's breaking news. Backy 5. Heard it here first. So Celtic have been drawn against Hibs at home. All right, John. Let's move on. Adam Eder, John. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it's actually going to happen?
I don't know. I really don't know. I know Norwich. The problem is Norwich they're wanting top dollar for him, and I think they're wanting around the £8 million mark for Adam Eder. With Celtic's riches that they've got right now, they should just go for it. Just say, look, get it over the line, get him in. We know what he's all about. It's a lot of money for Celtic, that 8 million, but Celtic were spending that kind of money back in the Chris Sutton days. They spent 7 million on John Hartson, back in the whatever year that was, 1999, 2000, whatever it was. 20 odd year ago, they were spending that on John Hartson. So why can they not do it these days? Own a quality striker like Adam Eder. He's a Celtic fan. He wants to play for Celtic. It's all right, us saying that Celtic penny pinching mentality, it's going to drag on, and I don't know. Maybe they will eventually get it over the line. Celtic obviously holding out for a better price. They want him for maybe around about the £6 million mark. I don't know, Xander. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to predict that one with Celtic, the penny pinching mentality. That's why it's so hard to predict. Me personally, I'd say spend the 8, get it done and dusted, get them settled into the team for the league starting. But that's not going to happen.
Doesn't seem like it, does it? All right, John. I just want the big man signed. I just want them. I said to you, John. I said to everybody. Even before he scored the Scottish Cup, I wanted him signed permanently because he's so physical. It's not just that he holds the ball up, John. It's what he does when he holds the ball up. He spreads it to another player, passes it left, passes it right, runs into the box. He's in the box for the cross in as well. He's just a brilliant big player. Big Adam Eder, no nonsense, as you said last week as well, John. No nonsense, throwing players to the floor, etc. I just love him. I just want him to sign. But we'll leave that there, John. I want to quickly run through the draw, right? The full draw, if you like, for the League Cup. We broke Celtic against Hibs a minute ago. Earlier on today, it was Motherwell 1, Partick Thistle 3. So Motherwell losing, but I think they still qualified. So that was earlier on. So the draw, right, John? This is a full draw for the second round of the League Cup, right? So Motherwell against Kilmarnock, Dundee United against St Mirren, Dundee against Airdrie, Falkirk against Hearts, Celtic against Hibs, Rangers against St Johnstone, Aberdeen against Queen's Park, and Spartans against Ross County. And jumping out to take you there, John?
No, it's a couple of good Premier League fixtures. No, obviously the Celtic game jumps out. That's the most important thing for us, isn't it? Rangers getting St Johnstone, of course. Easy enough draw for them, that one. And saying that, the way their pre-season's been gone, it's not looking good for them right now, is it?
Yeah.
But it's only pre-season friendly, so we can't say too much about Birmingham reserves and that beating them. But who cares about them? Look after Celtic. That's all that should matter to us.
That's it, John. I think they'll be playing that game at Hampden as well. So Motherwell Kilmarnock Premier League game, as you say, John. Dundee United St Mirren. You like Dundee United, so that'll be a tough game for Dundee United. They seem to be picking up the form a wee bit. Other fixtures, Milky against Falkirk. That'll be another tough one for Hearts because they're not doing too well either. But that's you updated anyway, everybody. That's you updated. That's the League Cup draw, just been released 5 minutes ago. So we look forward to playing Hibs at Park. Yeah.
At this time of recording, we're recording this at 5:30. So this is why we're saying at this moment. And anybody that's wondering, Milky versus who was it they were drawn against?
Sorry, Hearts are playing Falkirk, John, away.
Falkirk away. Well, just anybody wondering when Xander says Milky against Falkirk, that's Stephen Davis's Milky. Milky, I can't remember what the form is. Me, myself, and Irene, isn't it? That's who Milky is. Anybody wondering? We call Naismith Milky. So I don't know. It's a pretty good resemblance. I was watching actually. I was talking to Milky. I was watching an old Glasgow Derby game the day when it used to be the Old Firm. Milky was
Yeah.
in one of their games. I was watching a few of their games today, actually, old Derby games, brilliant to watch. And Milky was in one of their games. He took half injured. Half decent wee player these days, wee Milky, wasn't he?
Aye, he was a decent wee player, to be fair to Naismith, John. I thought he was all right, but it's what he's doing at Hearts that's the big problem. You know, the line down, and it's so blatant. You know, the line down against Rangers. You know, it's quite disgusting, actually. No integrity whatsoever there. You know, as you said about Derek McInnes, John, you know, a lot of the Celtic fans don't like him, but at least he's got integrity. He'll battle his team out there against Rangers as well as Celtic, John. So, you know, the one that stood out for me with Naismith was when Rangers were on their knees getting beat with Motherwell, getting beat with, you know, whoever it was, Dundee, Ross County, and then they came up against Hearts, John, and Hearts gubbed them in the quarter-final or the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. You know, that said it all for me.
Aye, well, that's what happens, isn't it, when you've got a guy like him in charge of Hearts? Just a Rangers diehard, and the sooner he gets sacked, the better for all. I think Hearts need to get a manager that he's got his principles in place. The team should matter before your boyhood heroes, Xander. That's the way it should be. And like you say, Derek McInnes, he's got that integrity about him. He's a professional manager. He doesn't care if he's playing Rangers, even though he's probably a Rangers fan. He played for Rangers, but at least he sends his team out to fight. So you can only say that about Derek. He's an honest guy, you know.
Yeah, well said, John. Well said. And that's all we're looking for with every manager in the SPL. Battle against both sides.
He's a bit moany, but at least he's honest.
That's it, John. All right, let's give some results, right? Some friendly results and some League Cup results over the weekend, John. Right, see if anything sticks out for you here. Anything sticks out, just interrupt me, right? Celtic Hearts 1, Hibs 0 last weekend, John. So remember we were talking about that. It should be a walkover for Hibs. Well, Hibs got beat 1-0 with Celtic Hearts, believe it or not. Who's this? Union. That was just a Union. I wonder who that is. Union Berlin 4, Rangers 4 yesterday. So Rangers get a respectable draw against Union Berlin reserves. By the way, I've never heard of Union Berlin. But anyway, we'll move on. Hibs 2,
Union
Watford 3.
Union Berlin reserves. I'm sure you're exaggerating that a wee bit, but then again, they get beat by Birmingham reserves, didn't they? And Man United reserves, and I don't know. I watched a couple of the games. They're pretty poor, weren't they?
I mean, the 4-4 against Union Berlin. I don't know who played, to be honest with you. I just saw the result, John. But as you say, I was just winding some people up with that one. Hibs 2, Watford 3. Defeat for Hibs there, John. So that's just a friendly, I suppose, isn't it? But as you mentioned, Birmingham 2, Rangers 1. That was a reserve team for Birmingham, so that was pretty poor result for Rangers. Dundee United 2, Luton Town 2, Fleetwood. Yeah, this one, John. I mean, Milky isn't having the greatest of starts, is he? And who did he play next, John, in the league? Who did he play first in the league? Hearts.
Rangers.
So it was Fleetwood. Yeah, that's it. Fleetwood 3, Hearts 0. John down at Fleetwood. And then they're off to Tynecastle to play Rangers, so I can only see one winner there. We're going to Friday, by the way, because the preview for the league games returns on Friday for us. So we're back to 2-3 a week, podcasts a week, folks. So it's going to be back to 2 or 3 a week. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear me and John talking for an hour 3 times a week. So yeah, Fleetwood 3, Hearts 0, John. So not a great start for Hearts. But moving on to some of their friendlies, Aberdeen 6. Sorry, this was a League Cup. Sorry, Aberdeen 6, Dumbarton 0, Hibs 4, Peterhead 0. This was all yesterday. And Dundee 6, Inverness Cali 0, John. That's a decent result for Dundee.
It's a very good result, aye. Aberdeen as well. They're doing well. What was the game I watched, Aberdeen? The European game the other night. I can't even remember who they were playing, to be honest with you. My memory's really bad. But I watched the Aberdeen game anyway. I know that wasn't a European game. It wasn't Aberdeen, was it? Who was it that was in Europe this week? Kilmarnock and St Mirren. It was Kilmarnock game I was thinking about.
St Mirren, yeah.
I didn't see the St Mirren game.
Mirren
I've seen the Kilmarnock games under. That was I thought Kilmarnock were pretty poor the first half and they had a better second half. Look, I wish all the Scottish teams well in Europe, apart from Rangers and Hearts. I'll get behind every team in Europe, the Scottish teams.
Mm-hmm.
But Kilmarnock, I thought they were pretty poor the first half. Showed a bit more fight in the second half, and I never seen the St Mirren game. I did watch an Aberdeen game as well, and I can't remember who it was they were playing, but I did watch one.
Yeah. Well, the Aberdeen friendly in midweek, John. That was. Did I write that down? I only wrote down the ones that really stood out. I didn't write it, so I don't know who it was they were playing, John. All right, John. That's all your results anyway. That's us right up to date. We've got the League Cup draw there. We've got all the results.
I think it was the League Cup game I watched with Aberdeen's under.
Yeah, it might have been, John, because I think they were concentrating on that, weren't they? So Aberdeen have started the season for them really well, banging in the goals, 6-1 game, 4 another game. No conceding many goals either. So Aberdeen are doing really well, John. So that's maybe Aberdeen are the team to watch this season. Right, okay. Rivals corner, John. This is a rivals corner. We're going to touch on our rivals every now and again because we're allowed to, aren't we? The other rivals, we need to keep an eye on them. We need to watch what we as Celtic are up against week in, week out. So this is a rivals corner. Let's touch on it. Let's look at their rumours, if you like, John. Lawrence Shankland strongly linked to sign for Rangers. We always thought that was going to be the case. But Hearts are keen to keep a hold of the big striker, John. They want to offer him a new contract. But he is linked to Rangers, John. What are you thinking of
there? But he is a half-decent striker, though, Shankland. He's one I would have liked to have seen at Celtic. We were talking about that last season. Lawrence Shankland, who was a better striker between him and Miovski. I think Miovski, I think he's slightly better than Shankland. Shankland's just got a good scoring record against Celtic. Maybe that's what it is. But I think they need more than Lawrence Shankland to help them this season's under. Well, I hope they do anyway. But I couldn't care less who they sign. He'd be a good fit for them, I think. He's got a right face for
it? Okay. He has, hasn't he? Same as that other boy that signed for Aberdeen, Connor Barron.
Connor Barron, aye.
Yeah. All right, Cantwell, he's putting a transfer request. It looks like he's played his last game for them. James Tavernier is actually still at Rangers, believe it or not, because Transport, they wanted to sign the player. But Rangers asked for an extra £1 million. Transport have said no, so that deal's dead in the water. But I think Tavernier's time's up there at Rangers. So
extra million for a serial loser.
maybe it wasn't an extra million. Maybe Rangers wanted to take $1 million off the price.
I don't know, but if that was the case, I just picture the board at Transbonsor or whatever they're called. Extra $1 million for a serial loser? Forget it, man. Keep him.
We've already got 2 of those serial losers. Barisic in it. And the guy that scored the own goal as well, went it in the cup final, was it? Or the league game before the cup final. What's his name again?
Oh,
Lundstrom, sorry.
Lundstrom, is he? He's at that club as well, aye?
Yeah, he's a Transport as well as Barisic. And the managers USA, John, must have said £1 million for a third serial loser. No way. On your way. Anyway, let's have a wee look at some of their results, John. I think you mentioned a couple of them earlier on. Ajax 2, Rangers 1. Man U 2, Rangers 0. Birmingham 2, Rangers 1. Union Berlin 4, Rangers 4. No great pre-season for them, John. And but let's be honest, John, pre-season games and results and performances go for absolutely nothing.
No, they go for absolutely nothing, you're right. But I think you'd rather be seeing your team winning these games than losing them as well. I mean, football's all about results, isn't it? And if your results are all bad, it doesn't make your fans happy. So I'm sure there's a few angry birds out there, Celtic fans in the comments. So in all the videos I've watched, I've been giving them stick the banter's been hilarious. So they kind of went back under the rocks for a wee while again after the pre-season. Maybe they'll come back out again, because they get that big draw against the Union Berlin reserves. So that might bring them back out. The old Rangers, they like a draw and celebrate it, didn't they? That's what they did at Celtic. They played Celtic at Ibrox and they had that the moral victory. So they had a wee moral victory against the Union. I was going to say Union Bears, but Union Berlin reserves.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. I just wrote Union, so maybe I wrote Union down first. But no, that's fair enough, John. That's no great close season. But I was listening to Peter Grant at half time in the Celtic game last night, and he says he remembers the centenary double season where Celtic were terrible in close season. They lost 5-1 to Arsenal, lost all their other games, John, and they went on to win the double. So that's always in the back of my mind, things like that, when it comes to close season friendlies. But it was just good to see that level of performance, especially against top class clubs.
Aye. Oh, this is it. I mean, the Celtic fans are all happy right now. I think they're excited, but the Celtic fans should also have in the back of their mind that this team has weakened since last season, and there's absolutely no signs of strengthening right now, is there? We're going to bring back Paulo Bernardo, a player that I says wasn't worth any more than 2.5 million, and that's exactly what Celtic are getting him for. But obviously, significant fee goes to who is it? He's way again, Benfica, is it?
Yeah.
So if the sell-on fee for Bernardo, they're going to get a significant cut of that, Xander, which is fair enough. Because I think they were wanting around 5 million for him. Celtic got him for half that price. I think that's all he's worth, Xander, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Good player, but he hasn't proved anything yet. And I think, to me, that's exactly what he was worth. And I think that's a good bit of business by Celtic. And I'm delighted with that because that's the price I had in mind last season. But we talked about it quite a few times. And thankfully, my guess was right.
Yeah, that's it, John. It's we've got him for that reduced price, so fair play to the board for getting a few million knocked off the agreed price, if you like, the agreed price with Benfica, wasn't it? So 5 or 6 million, I think it was they wanted, wasn't it? I think you're right. Just before we move on, John, just a wee thought that went into my head there when you were talking about the style of play in these close season friendlies. Do you think last season was a bedding in season for Brendan and Angie's players? Because obviously you've got to bear in mind last season that was all Ange Postecoglou's signs, right? And it's going to take a bit of getting used to these players, having Brendan in the door and getting used to his style of play. And I think it maybe took that full season to bed that in. And now maybe you're seeing the best of Brendan's style of play, John. Do you think that's a possibility?
That's a possibility. But it's a pre-season friendly tour, Xander. It doesn't really go for anything like we keep saying. So, all I can say is it's performance levels, isn't it? It's pre-season. It's performance levels you're looking at. And if performance levels are anything to go by, then it looks like they're starting to adjust pretty well to Brendan's system, which is pretty similar to Ange Postecoglou's system, to be honest with you. I think the two systems are pretty similar. I think the players are getting used to it. They look sharp. They look ready to go. But look, the most important thing is we haven't strengthened and we need to strengthen. And we've went through all the positions we need strengthening. We can see it again. We need a new left back. We need a new right back. Although Anthony Ralston, I think, does a half decent job covering for the other boy, Alistair Johnston. We need a centre back, a quality centre back to cover if Cameron gets injured or Liam Scales. We need a central midfielder that's a leader. And I don't know what else we need. Obviously, we need a striker as well. Maybe another 2 strikers. Definitely another 2 strikers. Because we've only got one at the club right now. So, and the lack of signing news is deafening, isn't it? I think we will get a few players in before the window shuts, but I would like to have seen them in before the season started. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, apart from Bernardo.
Yeah, you said last week, John, that the board are looking at this and thinking the team is strong enough to win the league without signing players. So there's no hurry. This is what the board saying, John, no me. So there's no hurry to get players in for the Champions League because the Champions League doesn't kick off until the transfer window closes. So there's still 4 or 5 weeks to get these players in. That's the way the board is looking at it. But like yourself and every other Celtic supporter, they want the players in now, weeks ago, to get these players bedded in for the Champions League, John. But it just hasn't happened. I think you're right, John. I think that the board are looking at it as, first game against Kilmarnock, and then Hibs. The team should be strong enough to win these games, especially now that they're looking at these results against the Premier League teams down in England. So I think that's what's going on there, John. Unless it's just a case of the right player just isn't available just now, John. That's the only other thing I can think of.
Don't know. I'm sure Brendan's got his targets in mind. It's about getting the money out of the pockets of the board and get the players on the park. I think that's what it's all about. He's probably identified players that he wants, but the penny pinching board are not willing to spend. Look, I hope I'm proved totally wrong. I mean, I could be totally wrong here. It might be nothing to do with penny pinching board. Maybe Brendan's just no identified targets that Celtic can afford. I really don't know what the problem is, but it is worrying the lack of news about signings. Paulo Bernardo, I think, is a good acquisition, right enough. Casper Schmeichel is another good acquisition. Fantastic acquisition, that actually. And the other boy, I can't remember his name, the goalkeeper, but he looks half decent as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think that. Sorry, John. I think also Mikey Johnston and Lewis Palmer are going to be like new signings. I suppose you look at it that way because he just came back for loan, hadn't he? And if we can get both Johnson and Palmer up to any sort of decent level, that'd be like a new signing as well, wouldn't it?
Aye. Mikey Johnston, I don't know. I like him. I think he's got a lot of ability. It's just his final ball lets him down, I think, with Mikey. Lewis Palmer, we know he's got tons of ability and he can take cracking free kicks and all that. All right, it never showed in the later part of the season. But I don't know. I just think that was down to him missing a penalty against, I don't know who it was against, to be honest with you, but for his national team, we spoke about that months ago. He went off the boil after that and never recovered. But it looks like he's maybe put that behind him. He looks a bit happier, a bit sharper.
Yeah.
But it is only pre-season friendlies, but we're also bearing that in mind. Everybody will know not going to jump on the bandwagon of, oh, we're brilliant because we beat Chelsea and Man City. It's not like that with us. Well aware it's just a pre-season friendly. And we're also well aware that the board need to get the money in the pocket and get the money spent on the players that we need. We definitely need to strengthen that team. We can't get into the Champions League with that team's under. That will get exposed badly.
Yeah. What about Thiago Holm, John? I think Brendan's played him in every game so far. Do you think there's any sort of future for Thiago Holm? He looks quite sharp, quite solid. Doesn't shirk a challenge. He looks a wee bit better. I know we must be just repeating ourselves, but we know it's only close season friendlies. But you can only play against the teams that are put in front of you, and he looked quite sharp to me.
He looked okay, didn't he, Thiago Holm?
Yeah.
I thought the boy did have potential when he first came to Celtic. I liked to look at him. Then, again, he was just another player that was hiding in games. So I'm sure Brendan, he's a good man manager. I'm sure he knows what's wrong with these players. If they're hiding in a game, Brendan will let them know that they're hiding and get involved more. So it looks like he's had a word with him as well. He looks like he's getting involved a wee bit more. So aye, let's hope he's like a new signing as well because he has got potential, that boy. And by the way, anybody that's got blonde hair shouldn't have a beard. I just think that looks stupid.
Right,
Thiago Holmes get the anybody with a white beard. It looks like, you see these old movies in the North Pole, whatever. They're doing the North Pole expedition and the ice is stuck to their beard. I think Thiago Holmes looks like it like that, doesn't he? He looks like he's got ice stuck to his beard.
All right, but I didn't really see that, to be honest. I'll need to look out for that.
But anyway, go on with it, Xander. I'm just rambling on here.
No, that's fine, John. There's a wee bit of a delay, so apologies for that. Before I move on to the fixtures for the weekend, because we're going to do obviously the previews back on Friday, so I don't want to go on too much about it. There will be a competition, folks, in midweek for the league game on Sunday. I'm just working on that just now. We'll have a wee video out in midweek for the new competition, all brand new competition, folks. So just keep your eye on that one in midweek. So we'll park that there. Fixtures for the weekend, John. So Saturday we've got Hearts against Rangers and Motherwell against Ross County. Then on Sunday we've got Dundee United against Dundee, St Mirren against Hibs, Celtic against Kilmarnock, John. It's just good to have the real football back into it.
It's flown in, to be honest with you. I think it's flown in. Also, obviously, we had the Euros to watch. That was pretty good. And then we've had all the pre-season friendlies to enjoy. So, aye, it's flown in, and it's really good to have, the competitive action back again. Good to see Celtic trophy day. That'll be good. Hopefully, it's a good result. But I'm looking forward to it, Xander. I can't wait till it starts. Less than a week away. Well, exactly a week away into it's next Sunday, Celtic kick-off. And it's good to have the podcast back for a couple of shows a week as well. That's good, rather than us looking for things to talk about. Now we've got plenty to talk about, which is good.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's why the podcast the last few weeks has been one a week, but it has went on for about an hour and a half each podcast. But now it's just going to be broken down into individual games, and it'll be about 40, 50 minutes per pod. That's what it usually is anyway, so we'll see what happens. The other game, John, sorry, I forgot to mention, was St Johnstone against Aberdeen, and that's on Monday. Right, John. Comments. Obviously, there was videos. There was videos put on Facebook, John. That video for we hear this. I don't want to bore everybody, right? But the video, for the Spain thing, Spain winning the Euros, is it 160,000 views? John, have you ever heard the likes of that in your life? 160,000 views for a wee podcast like us.
Hi, it's good. I watch the wee videos, and I keep saying to you, I can't stand Facebook, but I do watch your wee videos. But that's brilliant, Xander. Well done. And anybody listening, by the way, if you want your comment read out, we don't read them off of Facebook. We read them off of YouTube. So if you're listening on Facebook or whatever, leave your comment on YouTube and we'll read it out. Simple as that.
That's it, John. Simple as that. We can't read out the Facebook comments. There's too many. So just get over to the comments here on YouTube. We'll get them read out. Not a problem if you want your comment read out. It's just something we do every podcast. And the link for the Facebook channel as well is under John. That'll be in the description below this video. So if you want to check us out, just click the link below and it'll take you straight to it. Right, John, it's comment time. It's as you said earlier, John, the fans are happy because of these performances and results, especially against English Premier League teams. I don't know if any of the comments will say that, mind you, but what the commenters saying.
I was reading comments on Facebook, by the way, before I start, and a couple of guys says exactly what I was thinking. That game against Chelsea reminded me of the Lisbon Lions game. I'm not saying Celtic were playing like the Lisbon Lions. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way it was set up, the sun, the nonchalant attitude of the Celtic players walking about, the shape of the goals and all that, just the camera work. It just reminded me of 1967, Xander. It just, that whole setup reminded me of that game. Anybody else think that? Let us know in the comments. I just thought, I don't know, if Chelsea were playing in an Inter Milan strip, that's exactly what it would have looked like. It was really good. I enjoyed that. The camera work that was cool.
Do you know something, John? Right, and this might be a wee bit spooky, but I thought the exact same. I've not spoke to you. I've not spoke to you since the game's been on, but I thought the exact same thing. I said this is reminding me of the 1967 game. No, the way we were playing, like you, John. We're not being silly or anything like that. It was the atmosphere, the crowd, the camera work, the light, the pitch, the condition of the pitch. Chelsea in their dark blue strips, Celtic in their beautiful green and white strips, the goals. I thought the exact same thing, John. And as you said, a few commenters said the same thing as well. Spooky.
Aye, spooky, aye. Yeah, it was amazing to see, and there was parts of the game when Celtic were passed out wide and they were just walking about with the ball like Celtic were in Lisbon and all that as well. So it just made it seem like that game. And we're not saying it, we'll say it again, we're not saying that the Celtic team were playing like the Lisbon Lions. That's not what we're saying. It's just the whole setup, the height of the camera, all that stuff, the stadium, the shape of the goals even, the sun. It was like the heat of Lisbon. That's what it just reminded me of. Brilliant.
Bang on, John. I thought the exact same thing. Well said, John. Thanks for bringing that up.
Aye, anyway, that aside, let's get on with some comments.
Yeah.
First up, one club since 1888. Well done, young Matthew. Bang on with the Spain prediction. Ahead of John and Xander already. Superb pod, wee man. Well, isn't it? Because I says 2-1 to Spain. But,
is that official anywhere?
do you know what?
Do
you know what? I don't think it is official, Xander. No, I don't think it is officially said, but I predicted 2-1 to Spain. That was my prediction for that game. And aye, well, it's good to hear you, Matthew. You've done a good job. Well done, wee man. Good to see you as well. I've not seen you for years. And well done, Xander, for getting his age wrong.
It's his birthday 2 weeks ago. I was close. But no, I did well, didn't he, the wee man? He really enjoyed it. He wants to come back on sometime as well. So there's going to be plenty of podcasts. There's going to be 3 a week, 2 a week, whatever. So there'll be plenty of podcasts for the wee man to come on and do a wee 10 minutes at the end. That's not a problem. That's if he enjoys that. There's a lot of nice comments as well, wasn't there? So yeah, thanks for the comment. One club since 1888. Appreciate that.
Aye, thanks, mate. Should just invite him on while we're doing the podcast for the last 10 minutes rather than, doing a separate video. Just invite him on. Anyway.
I did that once, John, when you weren't feeling too well. I had to do it myself, and he came on the last 5 minutes. Him and we Ashton came on and just spoke for 5 minutes. So they both like it, but wee Matthew's the one that's Celtic daft. I've got a third grandson as well, wee Charlie. He's Celtic daft as well. He actually plays a lot of football. So we're going to try and get them on because it's good to hear their wee opinions, isn't it?
Aye, they're a bit young for that, right enough. Wee Matthew's obviously a wee bit older, so get him on for 10 minutes at the podcast, whatever. Good to hear you, Matthew. Yeah. But anyway, next up was our Jamesy boy Doran. James says Celtic have a huge following in America, and signing Casper Schmeichel on a free was a masterstroke from Brendan Rodgers, and he's a serial winner. It was a masterstroke. He's just a world-renowned keeper, isn't he? It was an excellent bit of business by Celtic. Even though he's 37, you can still see he's still got it, Xander. He's still the Denmark captain as well. He's just a quality keeper.
I'm impressed with him, John. I've got to admit, and I might be premature here with what I'm saying, but I think he could potentially be better than Joe Hart.
Oh, big words there, big words. Joe Hart was watching his interview the day with 2 English guys. Don't know who they were. I don't watch English. But he was talking about the Celtic fans and all that stuff. Joe Hart, big legend, love the guy. Good Celtic man. Aye. It's always good to see Big Joe. So I don't know if Casper's as good a keeper as Joe Hart. We'll soon find out, Xander. That's all we can do anyway, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's definitely on a level with him, John, for what I've saw. And going by Casper Schmeichel's history and all the clubs he's been at and everything else, it's as good as Joe Hart's. Don't get me wrong, John. I miss Big Joe Hart, outstanding goalkeeper for us. I'd love to see him start. I imagine we had both of them, Joe Hart and Casper Schmeichel. I mean, wow, what a number 1 and number 2 that would be, Johnny.
Aye, it'd be outstanding. Just 2 amazing keepers, 2 big names, aren't they? Joe Hart's a big personality in the changing room as well, of course. I'm sure Casper is as well. He's always got a smile on his face, Casper, isn't he? I like that. I like to see players happy. Aye, it's great to see him there. I do agree with James. I think it was a masterstroke bringing him to Celtic.
And do you know something, John? I think it was a masterstroke as well, because he's a leader. He's not only a winner, he's a leader. He's a born leader, and he's straight into that defence. You know, say Callum's off, and he's got to give the armband to somebody. I could see it going to Schmeichel.
I don't know. I don't like goalkeepers wearing the captain's armband. I like an outfield player. Probably go to Carter Vickers, I would imagine, second in line, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Carter Vickers, possibly Matt O'Reilly. I noticed Matt was wearing the captain's armband against when Callum went off. I think he wore it against Man City. Can't remember. Anyway, let's move on with the comments, Ander.
Okay, up.
Thanks for that, James. Good comment, mate.
Thanks, James.
Roseanne says, peanut joke was fantastic. John still wiping the tears from my eyes. There wasn't a joke, Roseanne, it was a fact.
I had a real laugh at that myself, even though it was me put the picture up. When I was trying to find a picture that resembled him, it was quite funny looking for it. Because it was no easy to find a sweet peanut with a face on it, John, by the way. It's a task and a half, but a fun one eventually, and I did look like him, you're right.
I don't know. You've got editing skills. You could have drew a face on one yourself. He's just... I've got nothing against the boy, Harry Kane, but he does look like a sweet peanut. You've got to admit that. A cross between a sweet peanut and Steptoe.
Aye, Steptoe, aye. As long as you don't think he's a sweet peanut, that's all right.
No, I don't think he's a sweet peanut. Anyway, thanks for that, Roseanne. Like I said, it wasn't a joke. If Harry Kane's listening, I do apologise.
It wasn't a joke, but it was funny.
Harry Kane's listening. Imagine Harry Kane listening to this, Sander. You know what I mean?
Stranger things have happened there.
Aye, well, you never know. You never know. He does look a wee bit like old man Steptoe, I think, Harry Kane as well. And so does David Turnbull. I think he looked like Steptoe. The two of them are droopy faces, isn't they? That kind of walking about with their face tripping them. That's just their natural face, isn't it? The way they look. But
I
think...
he's do you think Harry Kane looks like Turnbull?
He's got a droopy face, aye.
Aye, all right. Okay. All right, moving on. Thanks for the comment.
I don't know. Turnbull, I'm just glad he's away. Thanks for your comment anyway, Roseanne. She had another wee comment saying, good things come to those who wait. I feel another winning year for the Celtic family. Me as well, Roseanne. I think it's going to be a good season if we get our act together and get a couple of quality signings in, even if they're back up to the players that we've got, because we can't get into the Champions League with that team.
No. Well, we might not have any option, John. That's the problem, isn't it? But it all depends on whether there's money being released into it for Brendan to spend. So hopefully there is 2 or 3, top quality, John. We need top quality players in at the club. We've already signed one Sinisalo, whatever. I still don't know how to pronounce that boy's name. Sinisalo, is it? He looks like a decent keeper as well. Sinisalo, he seems like a decent keeper. But to have Casper in there, John, I'm over the moon with that. I've got to admit, I know I've said that a few times before, but I'm ecstatic with the signing of Casper Schmeichel, to be honest with you.
Oh, me as well, aye. But not enough for the Champions League. We need more than that. Every Celtic fan knows that, and I'm dreading going into the Champions League if we have to go in with the team that we've got. Know that they're bad players. They're good players for winning the domestic game. They're a great team for that, I think. But Champions League, it's just a money spinner for Celtic. They're not going to spend that, Xander. And they've got that training complex that they're building for the ladies' team and the under, whatever it is, just the young teams. I think they're going to play at that new training centre.
Yeah.
Aye. Was it really needed? I don't know. we've already got the big complex up at Lennoxtown. But I seen your wee video of that, by the way. That was a good video. The new training complex. That was quite a good wee video, that, Xander. That's some state into that path leading down to it. I don't think that's the road that the Celtic players use right enough, when they're driving down to it.
Well, that's the Clyde Path walkway, so I don't know if there's another road, a link road round the back it possibly, John. You could be right. But if it is the path, then that's another job that's needing done. So that's going to have to be rebuilt, obviously, because that's too dangerous, that path. I didn't feel safe walking down it myself. I'm just wondering what we're talking about. I done a wee video just showing the updates of the new training complex down at Barrowfield. I'll put a link in the description as well if you want to see it. But I just had a wee walk down there and went into the building site as well. No drones, no cowardly footage, John. No drones. I actually walked into the building site to get some actual footage. I've had a few people saying that there's brilliant drone footage. Not interested in drones. I want to see it from my own eyes. I want to see it up close and personal. And I had a wee chat with some of the people down there as well. So if you want to have a wee look at that, I'll put a link in the description for you.
Well, if you're not interested in drones, why you got me on your podcast?
You're an interesting drone, John.
Aye, well, I've been called similar things.
Well, there you go. But have a wee look at that. It's sitting at 12,000 views just now on YouTube, which is obviously we don't do videos on YouTube anymore, but you can do your own personal videos without getting any copyright. So it's at 12,000 views, which is absolutely superb. So have a wee look at that. The link's in the description below.
Aye, you wouldn't catch me walking down that path. You fall down one of the holes, you might not come back.
Yeah, I know, John. It is. I mean, that was a beautiful, scorching, sunshiny day, and I felt a wee bit for my safety, if I'm going to be honest. It's not got a great history, that footpath, obviously. I don't want to go into all that, but there's been a few incidents down in that path. Obviously, it's a off the main road track, it'll be pitch black at night, etc. But no, it was a good wee video. Enjoyed making it, to be perfectly honest with you. And I was quite impressed with the new structure and everything else that's going on down at Barrowfield, John.
Aye, it looks good. Aye, do we really need it? But that's the thing, isn't it? Do we really, really need that place? It's always good to have them, right enough, especially if for the women's team and the young guys and all that, they can go and train there and play their games there. I think the Celtic women's team will be playing their games there. I'm not sure. I'm not actually 100% sure, but what it's for. But I'm sure Celtic will be using it as well,
Yeah, I think the first team are going to use it now and again, but it's mainly for the ladies, like you say, John. You were bang on. The ladies and the youths and reserves. So yeah, they're all going to be using that, and obviously Lennoxtown's for the first team.
Aye, but like I keep saying, do we really need it? Do we really, really need that? We've got that big one up at Lennoxtown. I think that's more than enough, Sander. And I don't know. You've got to keep an eye on that steelwork where Rangers needing it,
Yeah, I think that's funny you should say that, because one of the commenters, I can't remember if it was Facebook or here on YouTube, it might have been here, says, glad to see the security were doing their job, throwing me off the site, because I could have been somebody for Rangers, So,
Aye.
So that was a good point. That was a good comment, actually.
Well, it's true, isn't it? Well, what it says on the Celtic website, obviously it's a new indoor arena featuring full-sized IFA-approved artificial surface. Combination of outdoor natural grass and artificial pitches, state-of-the-art gym, fitness facilities, Celtic Academy and Celtic FC women office areas. So it's an office area for the academy and the women. New changing facilities, medical suites for player treatment, rehab, sports science centre, analysis centre, and classroom learning facilities.
Yeah, it's going to be state of the art, isn't it?
Aye, well, that's what it's for anyway. Could have not done that up at Lennoxtown,
I think it's just because it's land that Celtic own. I think that's what it is, and they just wanted to use it for something. So they could have sold the land, I suppose, but they've used it. They've kept it in the Celtic family, if you like. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is it a waste of money, or are you quite happy that Celtic are doing it? Just let us know what you think in the comments section.
Aye. Well, I'm happy they're doing it, but I think the money could have been spent on the team. I mean, that's the most important thing. But
yeah,
like,
I'm going to be honest with you, John. I wasn't even aware that they started building on that. But when I started driving up Springfield Road to do that video, I thought I was going into Celtic's old training ground with nothing there. I didn't know they'd actually started building on it, so I was quite surprised myself when I saw it.
aye. Well, apparently it's going to be finished in October, Xander, so you'll get to see it in its full glory then. Then you can buy a drone.
Yeah, then buy a drone now because I'm not got anywhere near it. The only reason why I got near it is because the gates were lying wide open, so I just chanced my arm and walked in. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the wee video.
Aye. Anyway, let's move on with these comments, Xander, before it gets too late. Rosemary says 4 goalies, 1 striker.
Aye, that's still the case. It's still and saying that Sigris is off now, isn't he? So it's 3 goalkeepers and 1 striker. That's a good point, isn't it, John? 4 goalkeepers last week at one point and 1 striker at the club. Yeah, get the finger out, John. You're right. The board need to get the finger out. Urgency. Get these strikers in the door. We need at least 2 new strikers in the door. The Adam Meader thing doesn't look as though it's going to happen. Not just now anyway. So we should be looking elsewhere. And I think Brendan will be looking elsewhere, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, he'll always be busy behind the scenes, Brendan, looking at players, looking who you can bring in for Celtic's budget. It's no easy when Celtic's budget's under when you're trying to build a team for the Champions League. So I think any manager that tries to do that's got a hard job, with that budget. So we'll see what happens anyway. 4 goalies, 1 striker. Well, we've got 3 goalies and 1 striker. But let's move on to the next comment. We would never sell a club for £1. Says it was a masterstroke with Brendan signing Casper on a free transfer. And he's a great keeper all round. Aye, well, we've discussed that already. We would never sell a club. Aye, I totally agree with you. As a masterstroke.
Yeah, both John and I agree with that. Good comment. We would. Who was it, John? We've never sell a club for £1.
Aye.
Masterstroke. As a masterstroke, John, because the experience that guy's got, and not just experience, ability with it. So yeah, well done, Brendan, for getting that one over the line.
Aye, it was a good one. I'm really delighted with that. But, next up is you. Thanks for a comment. We would never sell a club.
Yeah, thank you.
Udif was up next. He says, I agree. Forget either. Dragging on too long. Celtic are too miserly to pay the extra £2 million. It's a sign of things to come. Think it's a sign of things to come.
It looks that way, doesn't it? I think a lot of people agreed on that Facebook channel, John. Our Facebook channel. A lot of people agree with that comment, and I agree as well. I think it's a definite sign of things to come. I could be totally wrong. Celtic could, reveal a new £10 million signing tomorrow. Can't see it obviously, but it does look as though it's a sign of things to come for me, John.
Aye. We've seen it all before. 2 goalkeepers in. That doesn't mean we've had a great transfer window. We needed keepers. We've needed keepers for quite some time. We only had Joe Hart, and the backup wasn't very good, was it? So,
no.
I don't know. It does look like a sign of things to come. Like I keep saying, the more money Celtic have got, the less they want to spend it. Anyway, next up was someone else's nostalgia. Try and batter through these, Xander, because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Someone else's nostalgia says that England team did not deserve to even get to the final of the Euros. They flicked their way through most of the knockout stages. I agree with that. They were absolutely rotten and they shouldn't have got to the final. They got the easiest draws you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, both of us said that for day one, didn't we? Since we saw the side of the draw they were on, dodging all the big teams, we both agreed with that for day one, John. So even the group they had was pretty bad. So yeah, totally agree. Someone else's nostalgia. Good comment.
Roseanne thinks Celtic will definitely get more players. I don't know how many, but it will happen. And she thought the score would be 2 each against I don't know who, because it was last week the comment was left.
Right, yeah, we will get more players in, John. It definitely will happen. It's just the time scale. The time scale isn't great with the league starting on Sunday. That's what the problem is. And by the way, thank you to everybody that entered the competition. Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you, everybody that entered the competition. It's appreciated. So much interest in that. I think people were missing it, John. So there's going to be a new competition in midweek. Keep your eyes open for that. But yeah, there will be signings over the door soon enough, I think, John.
Aye. Wait and see. We don't know. It's not looking good, is it? But we'll wait and see. There's still over a month to go in the transfer window, so there is still time.
Yeah.
Just a pity we couldn't get them in time for the league starting.
Exactly.
And bed them in. That gets them ready for the Champions League, you know.
Exactly.
It's no happened. Let's move on to the next comment. Mad about football. More signings, please. Agree with that. That's all we've been talking about.
Yeah. Cheers, pal.
Thanks, mate. Next up was Walter Orr. He says he's in Leesburg, VA, going to the game. Nice
All
one.
right. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think I've seen that comment. I can't remember. I think I got replied. I can't remember if I replied, but I did see it. Nice one, as you say, John. I'd love to have been over there watching the game, eh?
Especially the Chelsea game. It just looked like a beautiful day and all that. Lisbon Lions, it looked like. It didn't look like the Lisbon Lions. It was the same weather. Same pitch, same stadium, same goals. I mean, the shape of the goals. I just loved the look of that game. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the game, Walter. Or hope it was a good game, mate. Well, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. 8 days ago, that would have been the first friendly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, DC United just before it. I think, John, we're getting the commenters from America and all over the place, John. And we're also getting ex-professionals coming on and chatting to us. So it's good to see all these different people joining the Celtic Forever podcast.
Aye, it's really good. Aye, it's always good to speak to the people as well, read out their comments, see what they think.
Yeah,
it's always a good part of the podcast. That don't think we don't enjoy it. Everybody, we do enjoy the interaction with you. It's really good, and
we love it. We love it. Yeah, superb. Love it.
Walter Orr, thanks for your comment, mate. Good to see you here.
Thanks, Walter. Cheers, pal.
Right, next was Michelle Stewart. She says 2-1 for the Hoops friendly. Don't know what game she was talking about, but thanks for your comment, Michelle.
Michelle, yeah, I can't remember what game exactly. Was it the Man City possibly? No, it would have been for the Chelsea game, John. I think it was just before the Chelsea game. Good to have you back, Michelle. Keep the comments coming in, pal.
It was 8 days ago, Xander, so I don't know.
No.
Had to been against the American team.
No, I done the competition 8 days ago for Chelsea, John. I done that.
Oh, the competition, aye.
Yeah, because
that's what you did, aye.
I missed out the DC and the Man City game and just concentrated on Chelsea, just so everybody could get their correct scores in for the one game rather than bouncing between games, if you know what I mean. So keep the comments coming in, Michelle. Good to have you back, pal.
Aye, thanks for that. Next up was Paul McComb. He says, great pod, lads. Funny. Sweet Peanut was very funny. As for transfer, in the words of Corporal Jones, don't panic. Either is on his way. I don't think so, Paul. I don't think that's going to go over the line for some reason. I hope I'm wrong, but it's a hard one to predict, Xander, isn't it, either? Very hard to predict.
I think it's dead in the water, John, if I'm going to be honest with you. I hope I'm wrong. Paul's always optimistic, and fair play to Paul for that. And I agree with Paul. I also think the signings will come in. It's just, for me, it's just taking a wee bit. You know, league starting on Sunday, it's 5-6 days away. And no new signings apart from the goalkeeper, bearing in mind we lost Joe Hart. So, you know, we've not actually signed any new players. We've lost players and we've lost a player and replaced it with another. So we need the players in the door, John, ASAP. We really do.
Aye. Well, we can't say that enough, Kim. We've been saying it the whole podcast. It's just ridiculous the way things have been shaping up this pre-season. But apart from the results, they've been fantastic. I mean, that's the most important thing as a team. But everything else, I'm not happy with it. And Rosanna also thinks the Wimbledon fans are royal snubs.
Right, fair enough. I can't disagree. You know, I don't know who goes to watch Wimbledon, but they certainly look, you know, the sort of higher class of people, didn't they, John, with their strawberries and cream and their wee umbrellas and their sunshades sitting in the royal box, and you know, agree, totally agree.
I can't stand tennis. Do you know what? Tennis always reminds me of the school holidays when you were a kid. Because the football had finished, you had nothing to pass the time. I always remember when we were kids, everybody was out in the street with tennis rackets, weren't they? playing they draw a chalk tennis court on the road, things like that,
Aye.
and play tennis. No, on the road, the pavement. You don't want to play on the road; you get run over. But do you know what I'm talking about? You would just draw a tennis court with chalk, and the Wains would play there and all that stuff. Of course,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Change days. Change days.
We're old, of course, so we remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we say old. Sander's about 30 years older than me, but
You've been kind. You've been over the top there, John. I'm only 28 year older.
28-year older. Sander's actually 4 years younger than me. There you go.
Aye. It's
I'm the old boy here.
About the same age, aren't we? About the same age.
Aye.
The same sort of a grown up time, wasn't it? Same sort of. What's the word I'm looking for? The same.
Same era, aye. Same era.
Yeah, same era.
I don't even know what I was talking about there. Aye, the Royals tennis fans. Aye. Well done. Your wee Union flags and all that. Looks great, doesn't it? Lots of strawberries and cream and Union Jacks and I don't know. Brilliant. Anyway, what a laugh at tennis is. Brilliant.
Do you
anyway,
not get that? Do you not get that at Ibrox and all with the Union Jacks and the strawberries and ice cream? Do you not get that at Ibrox as well?
You don't get strawberries and cream. You get Buckfast bottles.
All right, so you do. Aye, so you do. Aye, that's right.
Union flags and Buckfast bottles.
Thrown at Celtic players, obviously.
Aye. So at least in Wimbledon, they don't throw strawberries and cream at the players.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, not that we know you anyway.
That would be good, that, wouldn't it? So it's the strawberries and cream getting battered there, the tennis players.
Yeah.
No, if it was like that, I would watch it.
Yeah, that's it. John, I was listening to Peter Grant again at halftime yesterday. He was saying that, he was injured for one of the games against Rangers and he was in the stand at Ibrox. And some things never change, by the way, but he was saying that the Celtic had scored and he jumped up. Obviously, he's in the stand at Ibrox, surrounded by Rangers supporters. And then he sat back down again. And within 3 seconds of sitting down, he was getting volleyed with pies and all sorts. So, some things never change, Johnny.
Aye, they like throwing stuff. There should be some kind of Olympics for that. They would win hands down.
Well, let's put it this way. If I had a pie, right, and I was to throw it at somebody 30 feet away, I wouldn't hit them.
No, yeah, well, I don't think a pie would leave your hands anyways, Andrew.
That's so true. Bad example.
Well, put it this way, would you waste, I don't know how much it is for a pie at football games, what is it, £3 or something like that? Would you waste £3 on a pie and then throw it away at a player or something? I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be getting well munched before I sat down.
No, that's it. That's it. You need to buy 2 pies, one for on the way back to your seat and then one for eating when you're sitting down.
One for him.
Is that just me?
Maybe they do that. Ibrox, can I have a pie and a missile, please?
Oh, it's good. Good banner.
Anyway, let's batter on Xander. Another couple of quick comments, then we'll call it a day because there's quite a few comments here. I'm not going to get through them all.
Okay.
I'll read a couple of new people. Walker says Palmer and Kuhn have got Palmer, Kuhn, and Yang have got to go. They were the players of the tournament, really, weren't they? For this? No Yang right enough, but Palmer and Kuhn and Yang have got to go. We'll be lucky to bring in 3 first-team players, central midfielder, centre-forward, and possibly a winger. Doesn't look like Brendan Rodgers is even interested in a left-back or centre-back.
Aye, well, as regards to Kuhn and Palmer, John, that comment probably came in before the Man City and Chelsea game. We've seen a different Kuhn and Palmer in their games pre-season. We know, I've mentioned it 1,000 times. But we've seen a difference in both of the boys. So I keep a hold of them, definitely. Yang, I don't want to be unkind on the boy. I really don't, because he is a talented footballer. But I don't think he's going to quite make it at Celtic, John.
No, he's no performed since he gets sent off against Hearts for me. That what's his name? Yang.
Yeah,
he's been absolute rubbish since he gets sent off against Hearts for nothing. I may add.
Yeah,
and he was on fire before that. Absolutely on fire, unplayable, and then he gets sent off, and his game just fell away after that.
It's strange. It's a shame for the boy. Hopefully, he can get over this and start putting in these performances again for Celtic. But we'll wait and see what happens with Yang during the season. There's no links or anything for him leaving or anything like that, but there was also no links for O leaving either, John, was there? So we'll keep an eye on what happens with Yang. That's all we can do.
Aye. Anyway, moving swift loan, Xander, I agree with you, by the way. Aye, that's all we can do. Moving swift loan, Joseph Agnew was up next. Joseph says, hail, hail, boys. We will regret losing. Oh, he would have got better for us. He would have got better for us. I don't think so, Joseph. That's just... Look, I've stated several times on here that O is just nowhere near Celtic quality. But Joseph thinks we'll regret losing him, Xander.
No. I got to it, but I like Joseph's comments. He leaves a lot of good comments. But I disagree with Joseph, and there's nothing wrong with that. I disagree with him. I think O is better off at Genk, where he's going to ply his trade. John's going to play every game, because at Celtic, he's not going to play every game. He'll be lucky to come on as a sub, half the games in the season. So I think maybe he means regret losing O as regards to only having one striker at the club, John. He might mean that. But I don't think we'll regret losing O as a centre-forward for Celtic.
I don't know. Let us know, Joseph, if that's what you meant, that we'll regret losing him because we've only got one striker. Me personally, I'm glad to see the back of the guy. Sorry, Joseph, but I'm just not a fan of O whatsoever. I'm glad to see the back of him.
Aye, John. I'm glad to see the money that we get from £4.5 million. He's no longer a Celtic player, so he's gone anyway. So what we think, you, me, and Joseph, what we think doesn't matter. But I think it does mean the lack of strikers at Celtic, and especially with the Adam Ida fiasco as well, John. I think we would regret losing O if we don't get any other strikers in the club. That goes without saying, I suppose.
Nah, I'd rather play Kasper Schmeichel up front.
I thought you were going to say Maeda. I'd rather play Maeda. But no, I know what you're saying, John. He's better off when he's going to play his football week in, week out, because that's never going to happen at Celtic.
No. Anyway, thanks for that, Joseph. Always a good comment. Gave us something to talk about there, mate, but I don't agree with you. Sorry, mate. I just don't agree with you. We'll regret losing O. Not in the slightest. But thanks, Joseph. You always leave good comments, mate. Good to hear from you as well.
Yeah, cheers, Joseph. Thanks for that, pal.
EMCD says 3-2 Celtic win. That was your score prediction. Then user, thanks for your comment, mate. Good to see you here. And
sorry, John, just to interrupt. There was at least 100 3-2 entries, so people were expecting a high-scoring game. It was a high-scoring game, but it was one-sided. So yeah, there was hundreds of 3-2 entries there, John.
Aye, you said that earlier. Under mine was 2-2, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think I gave a prediction. I didn't even give a prediction. That's how up to speed am I.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that. And Paul McComb had another comment. He says 8 million for Ida. I'd say get it done. I agree with that, Paul. I'd say just get it done and that's it. Get it done and dusted.
Yeah, we said that last week, John. Both of us agreed with that. Get the money paid. Doesn't matter if it's 7 or 8 million. I wouldn't go any higher than 8, mind you. Don't get me wrong. If they're wanting more than 8 million, I'd tell them to beat it. But yeah, pay the 8, get them bit in the door. And I sort of hope, John. I didn't want to touch on Ida too much, but I hope that deal can get done this week before the league starts.
Aye. Well, I certainly hope so. I'm sure it's stressful for Big Adam as well. He wants to play for Celtic. That's the thing, isn't it? But
yeah, John, sorry, his Instagram post. His Instagram post is he's wearing the Celtic strip. There's nothing Norwich in his Instagram page. So he just wants to be a Celtic player. The boy, as you say, John, I feel sorry for him.
Me as well. We'll wait and see what happens. And the next comment was about Ida as well. We would never sell a club. Says looks like Ida won't be signing for Celtic after all. And Norwich want to hold on to him. And the sickening thing is that Ida wants to be with Celtic, and Norwich have held Ida to ransom.
As per discussed, John. As per discussed, we just mentioned everything that. Who was it that said that, John? Commenter.
We would never sell a club.
We would never sell a club. Yeah, we just mentioned all of that. We didn't steal your comment of. We just mentioned it because it's a fact. It's. I think if it didn't get done this week, I think it's dead in the water.
I don't know if it's dead in the water, but it's certainly starting to look that way. But wait and see what happens. We keep saying that. That's all we can do. We don't know what's happening, so we'll wait and see. Next up was a new guy called Chantyism.
Yeah.
It's a correct name, isn't it? Chantyism.
Chantyism.
Aye.
Yeah,
Anyway,
good name.
it's a strange name to call yourself Chantyism, but there you go. Maybe that's his real name. I don't know. Maybe a lassie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the old Chantyism says prediction for the Chelsea game. No, the game. Prediction for the Chelsea game with no new signings. I can't see anything other than a win for them. 3-1 Chelsea.
Aye, well, that's the big surprise, John, isn't it? That is the big shock was the performance levels of these players. I mean, I was impressed, really impressed with the shutting down. See the closing down when we didn't have the ball. And then the sharpness of the passing and the crispness and the accuracy of the passing when we did have the ball. Again, pre-season, blah, 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 we know that, but you can only comment on what you're watching. I was impressed. I was impressed with that. And I think the commenter there will be impressed as well because he was expecting a 3-1 Chelsea win. Full strength, I might add, Chelsea team there, John, and beating them 4-1. What a brilliant day and night that was last night.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if it was a full Chelsea squad because I don't know anything about the English game. The only players I recognised was
Sterling.
Aye. He tried to dive for a penalty in a friendly as well, you know. But
I know.
Aye, no, that's the only player I recognise. But I don't watch the English game, remember, so I couldn't tell you what their full team is. I'm sure a lot of them were reserve players, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But
sorry, John. Who was the big guy that dived for the throw-in? Do you remember he just threw himself to the floor? The big guy for Chelsea when Palmer was near him. And I think the commentator said they must have tripped on a blade of grass. What a dive that was. That was superb.
But not as good as Silver. Nobody's better than Silver.
Silver.
For
Rangers, you mean, right? Aye.
Nobody's better than him.
No.
He's a grade one, isn't he? He's top of the league when it comes to diving.
He's number one. Yeah, he's the best. But that was what I thought was, as you say, John, in a friendly, diving to get a throw in. It wasn't even in the box. It was for a throw in. So anyway.
Well, that's the English for you, isn't it? I like to think they're superior to the Scottish, and then the Celtic turn up and put them in their place.
Yeah, that's it. And that'll always be the case because every time we play English clubs, we do really well. So anyway, is that it for the comments, John?
That's it. And thanks to Chantyism, that's the best name I've seen on the comments so far.
Yeah, Chantyism, thanks very much, pal. Keep the comments coming in. Everybody, keep your comments coming in. New commenters, old commenters. Doesn't matter. Just get your comments in. Thank you, everybody, for listening, viewing. Hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Join us on Facebook. The link is below for the Facebook page for hundreds of extra videos and content over there. Congratulations to Gordon McClymont and Roger McCaig Scott. That's another great name, John, isn't it? And Roger McCaig Scott and Gary Newington. So congratulations to them three. They will get the Celtic Forever ballpoint pens. That's them, John. They're gone. End of an era. No more Celtic Forever ballpoint pens. They're finished. Congratulations to Peter Hendry and Andrew Ferguson, who got the score right but weren't drawn out the hat. So unlucky to you. Thank you, everybody, for entering the competition. The Celtic podcast will return next weekend, next Friday, for the preview of the Celtic versus Commander game, Flag Day, Champions Day, whatever you want to call it. So we're looking forward to that next Friday, John. Are you looking forward to that? Back to normal?
Normal service resumed. Looking forward to that, Xander. Get us away for this pre-season. I mean, the pre-season podcasts are okay if you've got something worth talking about, really, aren't they? But we've not had anything to get excited about apart from the two goalkeepers we brought in. Adamida situation's dragged and dragged. Looks like we're getting Paulo Bernardo on a decent price.
Yeah.
That's really all we're taking for the summer break, Xander.
It's been good, John. I've enjoyed it, to be fair. We were worried about that. I think the one a week made it a bit easier for us because we just bunched everything into the one podcast. and it's just like a big roundup, Celtic roundup, every week, once a week. So thank you everybody for sticking by us through the summer weeks there. Thank you for that. Things are back to normal on Friday. We'll catch you all on Friday night for the preview of the Kilmarnock game. And thanks to John for reading out all the comments, and we'll catch you all next Friday. Hail for now.
Hail, Xander. Speak to you on Friday, mate.
Right, pal. See you later.